Losing is what got us here. None of us feel good about it. This is, where we are. You are what your record is. You are what has happened, recently. But things can change quickly. Once we lose.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back on the Losers Lounge. Please make sure you support the channel. We've been demonetized, so you can hit that Cash App at $ nothing but Knicks or PayPal at paypal.me/nothing but Knicks. Tony, what's poppin' with your brother, man?
What's good, Sim? It feels like it's been a while, with the 2-game losing streak. And then I think we did 1 out of the 3-game winning streak. So it's glad to be back. Glad to be back.
Right about it, man. The Knicks take care of business over the Raptors. Raptors fans don't like it. They don't like it, but you know what? They seem to know about the Losers Lounge, though. I don't know who my man Meteor Figure is, but he said might be a special Losers Lounge episode for you guys on Nothing But Knicks later on tonight. Tony said, "Oh, you already know." So I don't know if that's a Knicks fan or a Raptors fan. I guess it's a Raptors fan because he said you. I mean, I guess it's a Knicks fan because he said you guys.
Raptors. Yeah, I think it's a Knicks fan, but you know what, man? That's still love. It's still love.
It's all love.
We appreciate you.
It's all love because we definitely giving the Raptors a Losers Lounge tonight. I don't know what's going on with the Raptors.
We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it tonight. We talked about it last time they was on here, but we're gonna break it down a little bit tonight because they got decisions to make.
They got to make some decisions, man. Ricky said at this point, it's free to Raptors fans. Help us find a direction. This team is depressing. I mean, right now they're kind of stuck in purgatory. If you look at the names that they have, I was looking at their names when I did, when I was doing the game preview. I took a look at their names. Right? Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby. You got Dennis Schroeder at the point guard spot. He said they should be competitive. But they're not.
I think this was a great one to start with because he says it right here. Help us find a direction. That's the problem with this team right now. On paper, you're right. This team should be one of the better teams, one of the more competitive teams at the very least in the Eastern Conference.
Right.
The problem is they don't have a direction. There's no stability. Like they don't have guys currently locked up who are of value to them or of value if they're gonna move them. But they gotta pick a direction. So even as the player who's in the final year, I have no security. I'm either playing for myself, right, for the next contract, or I'm just what's the term? But just letting it go by basically because I know after this year I'm getting my contract. You know what I mean? And I'm going to the team I want to go to. So I think it opens the door for like there's no continuity. It's like the opposite of the Knicks. Everybody on this team, other than Emmanuel Quickly, knows they're part of this team, knows where they're going to be for the next, couple of years. Like granted, there's trade rumors and whispers, but there's security. You know what I mean? This team, you got Gary Trent, you got Pascal, you got OG. They just lost Van Vliet for nothing. Like that's got to be discouraging.
Right.
I mean,
was Van Vliet that important? He must have been that important to him because, like Scotty says, this team was the same as last year. Why are they suddenly so bad? I don't understand. But they're missing Fred Van Vliet from last year. You know what I mean? Sometimes that one player makes all the difference in the world. Just whatever it is that they bring.
And I think that was the mistake number one in not picking the direction then. You know what I mean? Because that opened the door to even more skepticism as a Pascal. You know they're willing to just let you go. You know what I mean? Like they're willing to just let the chips fall the way they fall.
Right.
So it's like purgatory. Like this is a lost year in a sense.
Yeah. And that's what it feels like when you talk about the Raptors. Dripmore said Van Vliet used to cook Brunson. That's my word. Van Vliet is nice. You know what I'm saying? And he would give not just Brunson, but the Knicks. He would give the Knicks fits. He's a leader.
I feel like he took Brunson personal because he kind of was doing, you know what I mean? Like he's been on a tear for some years as far as like just being slept on, underrated, you know what I mean?
Right.
And now it's like Brunson was just getting his shine. And it's like, yo, you know what I mean? Like I kind of been doing it. So it felt like he took it personal
He probably
when they matched up.
Yeah, he probably did. I mean, and you look at Houston right now; they're 11-9, and that's partly due because Fred VanVleet is their starting point guard. You know what I mean? And they found a way to add a team that can be competitive. You know, by putting Fred VanVleet and the other dude on the squad. You know what I mean? Yeah,
They got Brooks and
Raptors were 40. Yeah, Brooks. They got Brooks and VanVleet. Raptors were 41-41, ninth seed last year. They weren't good. they would just beat us. There's no doubt about it because their defense was tough. Their defense was tough last year. You know what
I mean, their defense should be tough this year. Or I mean, they have like all their wings would be easily coveted throughout the league.
Right.
And that's probably the most coveted position currently in the league.
Right. And I was just thinking about it, you know, as I was watching the game and I was watching the Knicks just, really kind of destroy their defense. I was like, yo, this team used to be defensive, scrappy, and it's like all gone. It's not even there. And you would think that even if they got a new coach, you would see signs of it there. Or maybe that coach just doesn't emphasize. I don't know, but it's not there. You know what I mean? It's not there. Mike said this team is even less fun than last year's team. Thanks, Masai. Great job. I mean, the team, they suck. You know what I mean? And you want to say when you're playing the Raptors, you want to be like, yeah, they're going to be tough regardless, even though they're not good. They don't have a good record. They're going to be tough, but they look soft. They look soft, and guys ain't performing like. Yeah, I mean, I guess coaching does. I mean, we've seen it here with the Knicks. Coaching can make a really big difference, right?
And that's the other thing, Sam. Like, I mean, going back to the pick a direction thing, you get rid of a championship coach, right?
Right.
That should be part of your picking of a direction because you got rid of him, but you didn't get rid of some of these guys that, I mean, you let Van Vliet go, who was part of that championship. You know what I mean? But you haven't, like, you got a rookie coach, but you still holding on to the vets. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna get a rookie coach in and get rid of a championship coach,
right,
you would think you're going full rebuild, turn it over, start from scratch. You know what I mean? It's mind-boggling, honestly.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's crazy. Fans say Darko got to be one of the worst coaches in the league. Dude has made 0 adjustments throughout the season. And there's been other, you've seen other things about, them not being happy with their coach.
I think I mean, again, part of that is, I mean, I haven't heard specifics about whom or which
Mhm.
players, but I would assume it's the more veteran players.
Right. Yeah.
Like what are we doing here?
Yeah. They got to do something. And maybe, when you look at their contract, maybe Masai is the kind that's like, if I can't get exactly what I want in these trades, if I'm gonna break this team down, if I can't get a slew of draft picks or bring back a guy that's gonna be a star, then I'm gonna just let the contracts fade out. And maybe he's not afraid to do that. I'm gonna just let the contracts go, right? Because Pascal is a free agent at the end of this year. OG Anunoby has a player option, which I'm sure he's going to opt out of. Right, his player option is 19.9. He's opting out of that, in my opinion. Gary Trent Jr., 18.5 million this year, and then he's a free agent. Dennis Schroeder, he's got he's got 2 seasons. Boucher 2 seasons. Scotty Barnes, they're keeping. Thaddeus Young last year. Otto Porter last year. Right, Precious. There's a qualifying offer for him. Malachi Flynn, qualifying offer for him.
That's
Garrett Temple last year. So,
that's
they
the
have
thing. The direction is already set. Why not jumpstart it? Why not jumpstart with the inevitable?
my thinking is that if you let all of these guys, well, you got Pirtle on the books for a while, right? But if you let Pascal Siakam go, OG Anunoby, he's gonna opt out. Maybe he goes. I don't know. Maybe they think he's a building block. But maybe he goes. Gary Trent Jr. goes, right? Everybody else, I mean, you're looking at the possibility of them
The most
having
cap space.
mad cap space,
The
right?
the only way that makes sense to me though is if we as Knicks fans, we know cap space means nothing.
Right. But
Nothing, right?
I don't
Unless
know. I don't know if they would be looking at trying to trade into that. I mean, I'm sorry,
mm,
trying to sign into that cap space. They might be saying nobody's signing to Toronto unless we're already good.
mhm,
Let's use the cap space
absorb.
to absorb because they can free up. They can free up if OG Anunoby doesn't pick up his player contract, his player option, they can have $65 million guaranteed, right? So you're talking almost $100 million in cap space. Now they can absorb contracts and pick up draft picks. You know what I'm
I
saying? To
mean,
try to rebuild their roster.
I guess that's the option, but you can also get rid of these expiring contracts and collect draft picks. And you know
You
what I
could.
mean? Like I'm sure you may not be able to get expirings back on every deal, but it would be the same logic. If you're gonna take on bad contracts to get picks, you can do that now while
Could.
also, you know what I mean, having the leverage. Like your only leverage is cap space. I'd rather have the leverage of valuable players because now you can negotiate.
That's true.
Because
That's true.
teams want these guys.
That's
You,
true.
you, you know what I mean?
And maybe
And-
he
and-
has, and people want to send him back long contracts or something. And he's like, we're not trying to do that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, after next year, their direction is going to be, you're going to know the direction of the team, because all these guys are going to be gone. We'll see what happens with OG if they try to keep OG.
I mean, that's been the talks that they want to keep him and Barnes together. Um, but ultimately he has all the leverage. So I mean,
Yeah.
maybe that's part of the cap space. We know we gotta throw a big bag at him to keep him.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So that could be part of it. With now that cap space becomes valuable to keep your own guy.
Right.
Um, but that still leaves. I mean, they rumored the same thing about Pascal. I think Pascal is out of there. OG, I think they may be able to persuade with the maximum contract.
Right. Yeah. Pascal's definitely out of there. He ain't coming back. Aiden said everybody but Scotty can just go. I mean, Scotty's definitely. They got some other guys that could be keepers on that team, but I dig what they're saying. Everybody but Scotty can go.
Who else you like there besides OG?
I mean, I've always been kind of a Gary Trent Jr. fan.
He's having a real bad year, but I agree.
He's a guy now. He makes $18.5 million this year. Is he going to make that next year? No. Probably, I don't think so.
Not coming off the year he's currently having.
Right. You know what I mean? Malachi Flynn is pretty cool. Precious is pretty good. These are young guys that I like.
I like Malachi coming out the draft.
Young guys that I would try to keep around. See what they develop into.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm them, like I said last time they was on the Losers Lounge, I'm trying to persuade some trades for some Canadians, and that I think that gives them the longest of a long-term security like player that's willing to stay. You know what I mean? They could rep their country, and kind of build it in the mindset of a mini, not a mini, but like a Canadian camp. You know what I mean? Like really just try to adopt these guys and build the system up to you know what I mean? I think that's the best option. There's enough good Canadian players that I think they could pursue 2 or 3 of them and kind of build from there.
Yeah.
Keep Barnes.
Yeah.
I mean, even like a Lou Dort, you know what I mean? Like I think he would be. They might be able to, you know what I mean, put a package together for them. Yeah. I know OKC's playing well right now, but I think, you know what I mean, they may be able to do something.
Yeah. Raptors gotta do something. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you support the channel. All right, make sure you support us. We've been demonetized, so you can support us by hitting the Cash App. All right, the Cash App is $ nothing but Knicks, or PayPal at paypal.me/nothing but Knicks. Ladies and gentlemen, in January, we can apply to get the monetization back. In the meantime, if you feel like supporting us, go ahead and support us. Again, Cash App, $ nothing but Knicks, or PayPal at paypal.me/nothing but Knicks. We always appreciate your support, ladies and gentlemen. Always.
And keep hitting the like button, keep hitting the subscribe, keep hitting the share. Let YouTube know what's going on here. Like,
no doubt. LOL, ISMH, LOL said Randle's looking like Carmelo Anthony. You know why he's saying that? We were talking about that in the post-game shows, the mid-range. Now, he still doesn't, his mid-range ain't like Carmelo's. Ain't as deadly as Melo's, but he's starting to eat a lot of food in the mid-range, man.
I'll say on top of just the mid-range shot, I mentioned we both agreed play of the game with the jab step. You know what I mean? That was mellowish too. You know what I mean? Yeah. The jab step got him off guard and drove to the basket for the dunk. Like that was a little mellowish too.
Yeah. Dribboy said, "Nah, dude." I mean, he ain't as smooth. His offense is not Melo's. Let's not get it twisted. But you know what I'm saying? His numbers in the Knicks uniform, though, is gonna be. He's gonna end up topping Melo. As long if Let him be here for 3 more years. He'll put up more all-time numbers than Melo. I think he might.
I know what you're doing, Sim.
I think he might.
You 100% right. Only way that changes if Melo come out of retirement. Yeah, I mean, give us a little 10, 15 points a game. Keep that little edge.
Only way it changes.
You're not slick, Sim. But I'm
That's
with
the
you.
only way it changes. You know what I mean? It's the only way it changes. Drip Moore said Melo is so refined in his movements. No doubt about it. He is. Melo's a way better offensive player than Randle. But Randle might be doing more for the franchise than Melo. I ain't gonna front. I can't front. How many times the Knicks go to the playoffs with Melo? 3 times?
I want to say 2. It might be 3 is max, though.
3 would be max.
3 would be max.
3 would be max. You know what I'm saying? How many All-NBAs did Melo make with the Knicks?
Sim, I'm surprised you're doing this. I already knew this stuff. You know what I mean?
Melo is my guy, but let's be truthful though. You know what I'm saying? Like with the New York Knicks, so like Randle might end up having overall a better Knick career than Melo did.
Yeah,
and that's not gonna be Melo's fault though. You know, the front office has a lot to do with that.
Hey, I've been saving this topic. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna come up soon.
Yeah,
but it's a fact.
Audi 100 said, get off me. I think that's what Randle said tonight. He's going to be better than Melo's time here. He might be. You know what I'm saying? If Melo had, I agree with Julu. If Melo had a better organization, you know what I'm saying? Then, you know, who knows what Melo could have done with the Knicks if he had a better organization.
Yeah, if he had Leon Rose here, might have changed some things.
Right. Yeah. Might have changed a lot of things. Leon Rose was probably his agent at the time, but might have changed a lot of things. Stafford, Dripmore said, will Randle be better than Denver Melo ever?
No.
Probably not.
No.
Probably not. But Denver Melo didn't play for the Knicks.
We only talking Knicks career.
What I'm saying? Like his first year, first 2 or 3 years, we had part of that Denver Melo when he won the scoring title. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But the Knicks just never put the right pieces around Melo. But Randle is you know what I mean? If Randle's doing his things. Said Randle got to take us to the ECF to pass Melo.
You saying like a consensus, like for the fan base to acknowledge, or you just talking about like statistic numbers and like hard evidence? Because I you know what I mean, I think there's two different things. For there to be a consensus amongst Knicks fans to be like, yeah, you know what I mean, Randle's had a better Knick career than, you know what I mean, then yeah, I agree, Eastern Conference Final or better. But just numbers wise, it's inevitable. I feel like.
I mean,
like even it's same thing with Mitchell Robinson. The longer he's here, he's just gonna be in the record books,
right?
For like he's already climbing the charts.
Right. I see Dripmore don't like this conversation. He ain't feeling it. He said, so don't compare. Let Randle finish his career. Then compare.
I mean, that's what I was saying. I was holding this
time. What was Melo was here for 7 years? This is Randle's 5th year with the Knicks.
Yes.
So like you're almost getting to the same. You're almost getting to the same number of years.
With Civ Drip, but that's exactly why I just said I've been holding this, because I wanted to wait until it was, you know what I mean, at least the same time length.
I mean, Jim Moore said, let's see if Randle will be top 75 in Hall of Fame.
We're not saying none of that.
But
We're
what
not
about
saying
his
overall
time?
career or
Right. We're not
overall
talking
better
overall
player or
career.
any of that.
Right. We're not
Melo
even
is a bucket, point blank, period.
He's not a better player than Melo overall. But was he a better player on the Knicks than Melo was on the Knicks?
Sure,
think
I
that's
just say he's not a better scorer than Melo, because that's who Melo is. Like he's one of the best, purest scorers in the NBA ever, hands down. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Julius said Melo, he ain't take us to the Eastern Conference Finals, but he's still more beloved than Randle will ever will be. Yeah, because Melo is
Agreed.
Melo. Because everybody likes Melo.
And he from here.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So
Like,
yeah, he's
supposed
going to be beloved because everyone just Melo is cool. Everybody likes Melo. You know, he said the right things in the press conferences. He handled his situation with the Knicks.
Yeah, Julius Randle is never on the level of
No.
handling the vigors of New York
Not
like
even
Melo
close.
was.
Not even close.
Melo might be number one,
Yeah.
all-time greatest,
Right.
through controversy, through, you know what I mean, nicks and bruises.
Right. Ali said he's from Baltimore. Actually, he lived in Brooklyn until he was 12. Then he moved to Baltimore. And then he played ball in Baltimore. Then he went to Denver. Then he came back to New York. So he actually spent more time,
coming home.
you know, and he still lives in New York. So he's probably actually spent more time in New York than Baltimore. But
And
you
his
know, his formative
son plays
years
in
he
New
grew up
York.
in Baltimore. Right, his son's playing in New York. His formative years he grew up in Baltimore. No doubt about it. You know what I mean? No one's denying Baltimore though. You know what I mean? No one's denying Baltimore. But I mean, you live 12 years in a place, you still kind of, you know what I mean? Just saying. But
We're not taking nothing away from B-More.
Nobody's taking nothing away from Baltimore. Some hoopers, there's a lot of hoopers in Baltimore, to tell you the truth. No doubt about that. Julius said everyone in them didn't love Melo when he was here. Melo got dogged here and by the front office, media, and the fan base. No doubt about it.
But he handled it like no one, like he from New York and he knew what comes with the territory.
He handled it. He knew how to handle it. You know what I'm saying? And then like most stars that leave the Knicks, when he did come back, now everybody loves him. You know what I'm saying? That's how it seems to go. That's how it seems to go in New York. You know what I mean?
Hey, Stafford Dawson, let's get back to the salty Raptors fans. Hey, they brought him up.
They brought it up. They said Randall's looking like Melo. They brought it up. I guess they was trying to divide us. You know what I'm saying? They was trying. They knew what was going to happen on the losers' lounge. They said, "Nah, we got to give them a reason to fight amongst themselves." You know what I mean? Got to give them a reason to fight amongst themselves. Anyway, Carmelo Anthony's always at Knicks games, supporting the Knicks. You know, supporting Brunson, Randle, and all of them. I love seeing them back. I would love to see him back in the uniform, though. We love to see him back in the uniform. Said Brunson went straight to Melo for a hug after the Miami win in the playoffs. No doubt. I would love to see Melo back in the Knicks uniform.
And that's what we saying. Man, and that's another reason why I've never really brought it up either. Just because I know it's a touchy topic.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Knicks fans would love to have Melo come back just for a farewell tour. They would love to have Melo back for a farewell tour. Everybody would.
That's my first option. And then if he's definitively retired, sign a 1-day contract and retire, Nick, you're supposed to.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Stop playing.
You know what I'm saying? All right, let's get back to the Raptors. Dougie Fresh said, just some perspective. OG has never been an all-star. He's been all NBA defense, second team once. How's he worth multiple first round picks?
Mm.
How old is OG Anunoby?
26, I think.
26 years old.
Let me Google it.
He's still fairly young, but he's getting to that age where, you know, you start to question if is he still going to become, what people thought he was going to be.
You
He's
think
26 years old.
he is?
Yeah, 26 years old. Or is who he is?
I mean, I don't think people still talk about OG and go and say, "Oh, his potential." I
Say that
think people.
again?
I don't think people talk about OG and talk about potential. You know what I mean? I feel like at this point he's valued for what he does.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's not really projecting anymore. It's not like,
Right.
oh, he's gonna be such and such. Now, I'm not saying he's a finished product completely, but I think people value him for what he is more than look at him at who he could project to be.
Mm.
He's closer to a finished product. I'll say that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. A lot of people,
Well,
a lot of people, especially in Knicks Nation, want to see OG on the Knicks. There was a point when I did too. You know what I mean? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know anymore.
but his value has to be multiple first. I mean, I would think so. Just because even the fact of position by need, position of need. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like who now restricted, unrestricted, you know what I mean? Like where those picks land, that changes the conversation, but I think he's worth multiple firsts.
Mm,
I mean, and I say that by two.
yeah.
What
I'm
you
sure.
think?
I mean, he probably is. He probably is. Because how many, especially if you're talking mid to low first round picks, you know,
Now, now to
lottery
put
picks, I don't know.
let me put some perspective on it. The rumor was they turned down 4 picks for him, correct? Last year, trade deadline or or
Oh,
or,
I
or
didn't know
this
that.
offseason
I didn't
season.
know that.
I'm pretty sure he's the player that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was OG that the rumor was they turned down 4 picks for him.
Okay.
So maybe when he said multiple, he didn't specify 4
Right.
because when you say multiple, I'm thinking 2. I don't think he's worth 4,
Nah.
and I'd be
Nah.
hard pressed to give 3.
I don't think he's worth 4. I don't think he's worth 4. Not at all.
David L and Juju both say he's overrated. Juju Caesar and David L.
Say he's overrated. Um,
Uh, Kyrie says RJ's better.
oh, I mean, he probably is better. I think
He
OG,
was knocking down them threes tonight. I'll tell you that.
yeah.
OG was.
I think he's a little more athletic than RJ. But what's that mean? You know, I mean, he might be a little more athletic, but that doesn't mean he's a better player. You know what I mean?
And let's say this. I think RJ at 26 will be better than OG at 26.
Yeah,
I think that wholeheartedly.
yeah, he might be. He might be. We'll see. Well, we know Toronto's not going to trade him to the Knicks. So Aiden said, "Send Pascal somewhere. We need to rebuild. Send him somewhere because we need to rebuild." I mean, I don't think they're gonna send him anywhere this year unless it's
You
that because he's in the last year of his contract. He makes $37 million. Who's gonna trade multiple first round picks or whatever for Pascal Siakam unless they're freeing up, unless they're trading another star player that's gonna, that has like 3 or 4 years left on their contract, and he's helping to free up that. I think a team that wants him might try to wait until free agency if they have the money.
fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, unless it's a team that doesn't have the money. But I've heard Golden State is interested. I've also heard OKC is interested. Now,
Mm,
OKC is interesting because I mentioned Lou Dort. You know what I mean? Like
right.
I don't know if that's a starting point. I don't even know what their players' contracts are to kind of equate, but they're a team that has some cap space as well. So now that whole absorbing and you know what I mean, maybe giving one guy up or whatever the case, you know what I mean, they could pull it off.
Man, Golden State, they need to cool out themselves, in my opinion. They need to cool it because it's the end of the road.
Mm.
In my opinion, I think it's the end of the road for them. So if they trade for Pascal, and I mean, I know it's the last year of his contract and all of that, but to me, you're trying hard to squeeze every single last drop out of Steph and Clay, and I think it's done.
But what's the alternative? It shouldn't be trade Steph, trade Clay, trade Draymond, right?
I mean, they're not gonna do that. They're not
I
gonna
mean,
do that.
but that's what I mean. What's the alternative
I don't
other
know what
than
the alternative is.
squeeze every little? You know what I mean? Like that's the right thing to do.
Man, or maybe it's time to say, you know what? I'm sorry, Steph, it's over. I'm sorry, Clay, it's over. Or
And
or
and trade him.
they might keep Steph around. Clay is gonna be a free agent this year.
I mean, I think they're open. I think obviously they clearly open to doing that. Draymond, they gave him his contract
I know.
and everything that he's been through, even this year. You know what I mean? And past,
Mhm.
they almost got to stand on that. You know what I mean? Like I don't think they
I
can
know.
let they can't let Draymond go.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I think they're gonna be one of those classic teams that try to, you know, they
they
got these
hold on too
stars.
long. You saying?
Yep, running it too long. I think they're done.
I think their mistake was last year, or and not necessarily with Poole, even though that's a whole nother category. But um, getting rid of Wiseman
Mhm.
and not just running with the Wiseman, Kaminga, Moody maturation and kind of let them. I think that was the route to go. You,
Right,
you, you know what I mean? Like
right. I
getting
mean,
rid of Kaminga was saying, "Oh, you had a golden opportunity with a top. What was he, number one?
I forgot what he was, but yeah, maybe.
Wiseman. I think he
Yeah,
was the number one pick.
Wiseman, I think, was maybe number 1, yeah.
But you made a mistake in the pick, and then you have to get rid of it. You should have just stood on that and let that build to your next generation. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Because you
right.
could have got them on decent contracts moving forward, kept your big three, and live with the results. So I agree with you in a sense, but I think they have no choice now. Once they started the ball rolling, now they got to keep trying to squeeze
Yeah,
more juice, squeeze
I
more
mean,
juice.
I think they should when Steph Curry's contract is over, I think they should just let it rock. So they're gonna try to squeeze it, you know what I mean? Steph Curry's contract finishes in 25, 26. Chris Paul is on there until next year, 24, 25. Andrew Wiggins' contract is 25, 26, and then there's a player option for the next year. Draymond Green, 25, 26, player option for the next year. You know what I mean? After that, they don't nobody really of significance. So yeah,
Would you trade Wiggins for Pascal if you the Warriors? or do you think that's lateral at best?
Probably lateral. Now, the only way I would do that is if I think I'm freeing up money,
Mm,
right? Which you would. You would think
you would,
would
yeah,
free up money because Pascal's
yeah.
contract finishes this season and Andrew Wiggins goes until 25, 26. So you'd free up that money. You need to add another 13 in there or something like that to make it match. But
I'm just laughing because I mean they can find it. Trent making that could
yeah, they can
you know
find
what I
a
mean?
way to make it. They can find a way to make
And
it.
that might even be like Pascal and Trent for Wiggins.
You know, no.
Oh,
Pascal makes more than Wiggins. It's got to be the other.
oh, okay.
Yeah, Pascal
Um,
makes 37.
so they
Andrew
need.
Wiggins,
Mm,
Andrew Wiggins makes like 24. So it's got to go the other way.
mm. What's Chris Paul making?
He makes 30.8.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. All right, enough of that.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Sorry, guys, we don't get to talk about other
Yeah,
NBA teams
right.
too
You know what
much.
I
You
mean?
know what I mean?
So 2 teams in purgatory trying to make something work. We'll see. Big Nick said, to be honest, the Knicks stars made really tough shots. And when we doubled their role players, hit threes. That's basically it. I mean, that's what good teams do.
That's
Stars
good
make shots.
basketball.
Yeah, stars make shots, and the role players,
Make
stars
open
score,
shots.
and then role players make open shots. That's what you do. I mean, let you know we're a good basketball team. JJ said Sims is miles better than any big the Raptors have off their bench. He's their backup of a backup. Shake my head. Yeah, you're right. And then Tony said we might consider including him in the trade for OG.
Hey,
But he is.
right.
He's the backup of a backup. You know what I mean? But the Knicks are fortunate to have a third string center that can be good enough to come in and start. You know what I'm saying? And give you what you need. Not anything extra, but what you need.
It's almost like what I was saying off camera about Deuce to an extent.
Yeah.
I mean, stay ready. Just don't make no big mistakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The Raptors, man, I never really liked the Raptors, so I'm glad they trash. Never been a Raptors fan.
Me neither. And I'm glad they ain't using that lawsuit as motivation.
Right. Players, I guess, yeah, right. The players, I guess, don't care. They're like, whatever. As long as it don't hurt my pocket.
Wait, they want 10 million? What that money come out of?
Yeah, exactly. What part of money? It don't touch the cap, right? All right, we good. Yeah. I don't know, but ladies and gentlemen, man, it's 1:00 in the morning.
Yeah,
1
good
o'clock in the
show.
morning.
Good
Yeah.
show.
For those who follow the front stoop, man, I'm gonna jump on and do the front stoop about 11:30 tomorrow morning. So come join us if you're free. Just talk just some things going on in hip hop. All right. So, if you don't follow the front stoop, just follow the front stoop. Subscribe
Yeah.
to the channel. I mean, subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/front stoop. Join us tomorrow. Tony, you gonna be able to make it tomorrow?
Yeah, did you say in the morning?
Tomorrow morning, yeah.
Yeah. I should be good.
Yeah, join us tomorrow. Actually, I'm gonna put the link in the chat. All right, where you can subscribe to the channel. Join us tomorrow morning. I think oh, yeah, there you go. It's youtube.com/front stoop live. My bad. We're gonna just talk some hip hop and whatnot, ladies and gentlemen. Got inspired. I watched DMC on Drink Champs the other night, and I remembered back to when we had DMC on the show, and I was like, man, let me
Reach out.
what am I doing? Let me knock these shows out. You know what I'm saying? Let me knock these shows out. DMC did a great interview when he was on with us, and he did a great interview on Drink Champs. You know what I mean?
I kept seeing it. I kept skipping it. I'm gonna check it out.
Nah, that's a good one.
Check it out.
It's a good one. So
I don't know. You know how long it was? That might have been the reason.
4
I might not have had time.
4 hours long.
Yeah, that's what it was. I'm like, yeah, I was like, I don't got enough time right now. I knew that's what it was.
Yeah, it's dope though. So make sure you join us on the front stoop, ladies and gentlemen. The link is in the chat. We're gonna get up out of here for the night. Tony, any last words before we rock?
Nah, man, it's always a pleasure, man. Like I said, it felt like a long time. So I'm glad to be back, and let's get a couple more on this trip. You know what I mean? Let's get at least 3 more on this trip. That'd be nice.
All right, folks. Make sure you support the channel. All right. The channel's been demonetized, so support us. Hit that Cash App, $ nothing but Knicks, or PayPal at paypal.me/nothing but Knicks. It's tagged to the top of your YouTube chat. It's also in the description of the video. And for those who are on Facebook, it's in the comment section. So make sure you support the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We definitely appreciate you supporting us and continuously supporting us. We're up out of here, folks. Peace.
Losing is what got us here. None of us feel good about it. This is, where we are. You are what your record is. You are what has happened, recently. But things can change quickly. Once we